All right, guys. Let's do. We're going to jump into factoring polynomials. Okay. Do you guys remember this? Do you guys remember the box method? Now, hopefully, you can see it. Like, let's say you have x plus 5, x minus 2. You guys remember this? And we would multiply. We'd get x squared. We would get 5x. We would get negative 2x. We would get negative 10. And then we start in the left-hand corner. We add those together. We get positive 3x minus 10. Do you guys remember this? Okay. What we're going to be doing now, if you guys remember last week, I know that it's been a long weekend or whatever. If you remember, we took the greatest common factor. I remember the distributed property, and I showed you like what numbers. Then we talked about the letters. How many A's do they have in common, or how many X's do they have in common, or how many whatever. Okay, you guys that have Chromebooks open, close them, completely close them, please. I want to make sure that you're following along. Close your Chromebook, please. All right. This is what we did last week. We had like 3a squared plus 21, and our factor was like a 3, and then we divided by 3, and we're left with a squared plus 7. Do you guys remember that? Kind of, sort of? Yes? No? Play along. We're good? You do remember. All right. So today what we're going to do is I'm going to give you this, and I'm going to tell you how to figure out that my answers are x plus 5 and x minus 2. Today we're factoring polynomials where a is going to be 1. A is 1. So if you look at this answer, this is 1x squared, right? So my a value, remember it's a, b, c, ax squared plus bx plus c. My a is 1. So there's not a number on the front, okay? There's not a number. When you come back on Wednesday, then we will go back into where we have numbers that actually exist on the front, and it's a little more complicated, okay? Today won't be that bad. If you follow along with me, we should not have a problem. You should be able to pick this up pretty quickly, okay? Cool? All right, here we go. Let's get started. I forgot to click on this. Let me get my clicker. We'll get started. All right, first one. You guys see that box method? I want you to go ahead and solve that first one. Can you remember x plus 1? Actually, I'll do this really quick, okay? I'm not sure why they're having you do it like that. Okay. This extra, I'm not worried about that. All right, so here we go. Let's just do one of them for the sake of time. Let's do x plus 1, x plus 5, okay? So x plus 1, x plus 5. What is x times x? X squared, okay? What is 1 times x? Or just x, 1x, right? What's 5 times x? 5x, and then we've got what's 5 times 1? Positive 5, okay? Now, when I do this, I'm going to start with the top left-hand corner. What is it? X squared? What's 1 plus 5? Positive 6x, and then we got plus 5. Everybody with me so far? Now, just for the sake of time, I don't need to re-explain how to do all these, yes? I should not. So I'm going to give you the answers to these, and I'm going to point out just a couple of small things, okay? This one I have a negative and a positive, so let me show you this. My answer is actually going to be m squared because I've got m times m, right? If you guys haven't caught on to this, look. Oh, what's x times x? X squared, okay? So that's the easy way to do this. What's negative 4 times negative 6? Let me show you this. I'm just giving you the shortcut version, by the way. What's negative 4 times 6? Calculators. Negative what? Negative 24. So that's the number on the end. Because if you look, 5 times 1 is positive 5. That's what we got on that one. Right? Now I'm just going to add them. What's negative 4 plus 6? Positive 2 what? 2m. There we go. That's how I do these. So when I'm doing these in my head, that's how I actually do them. I multiply the numbers on the end, and then I add them together. Adding them gives me the middle number. Multiplying gives me the number on the end. Okay? And if you notice, think about it. What's 5 times 1? 5. What's 1 plus 5? 6. So it works. Okay? All right, so let's do this. What's k times k? K squared. What is negative 7 times negative 3? Positive what? Positive 21. Now let's add those numbers together. What's negative 7 plus negative 3? Negative 10 what? Negative 10k. Okay? It's kind of a little shortcut, isn't it? Okay? You multiply them and then you add them. Okay. Hopefully that thing is not like rubbing up against it and making it staticky. All right. Is everybody okay so far? Trinomials like these can be factored back into. So what we're going to do is today I'm going to show you how to get all of these answers back into all those. Okay, that's what we're going to do today. And I'm going to show you the pattern. There's a little bit of a pattern, kind of like I just showed you. It's almost like cheating, okay? But there is a pattern to it. All right, here we go. Turn it on. To factor a trinomial. To factor a trinomial, you got to find two numbers that add up to be b, that add to be whatever the b number is, which is what we just did, and they multiply to be the c value. They multiply to be the c value. Some people use a box method. I actually don't even know how to do that. Okay, I'm going to show you what I call the X method. Okay. So an example of this, here's how this would actually work. Now the way I always did this, please watch because you're going to see this a lot today. I don't want you to be confused. What number's on the end? What number's on the end, guys? A 12. Okay. What two, give me just numbers that multiply to be 12. 6 times 2, what else multiplies to be 12? 4 times 3, what else multiplies to be 12? 12 times 1, is that it? Everybody with me on that? I can't think of any more. Can you? Now let me ask you this. Which combination adds up to be 7? 4 and 3. So my answer is just going to be simply 4 and 3. So if I were to do these, write these binomials using integers. So it'd be x positive 4, x positive 3. That's all you really have to do. You have to find the right combination of numbers. Makes sense? I see a lot of nodding. Everyone's like, okay, I kind of get that. Literally, they multiply to be the top number. I like the x because it separates it and you're able to see this a whole lot better. Yes? I like that because you can see it, okay? You can see it and it's a whole lot better. And then you can just, what I always did was I just circled the one that works. Okay, 4 and 3 makes it easy. Okay, and if everything is positive, now we'll get into when we have negatives here in a minute. But when everything is positive, if everything is positive, what do I not want to use? Negatives. If everything is positive, I do not want to use a negative at all. Okay, don't include them. Okay, that one's easy. All right, here we go. So let's try this one. What two numbers multiply to be 20? Okay, well, let's just start with that question. What two numbers multiply to be 20? Just give me numbers. Okay, 20 times 1, 2 times what? I always go down. 2 times what? 10. 3 won't. 4 times what? 5. That's it. And I like going in order. I love doing that because it 1, 2, 4, 5, 10. Like I know I'm good. Okay. So which combination multiplies to be 20, which we got, but they also add up to be 9? My answer is n plus 5, n plus 4. We're done. I see it like it's starting like, oh, okay, I could do this. Everybody good? Try number 2. Go. See if you can find it. This is a sheet that you're going to have to remember because these notes are really going to set you up for the next class. If you don't know how to do this one, literally I am adding on to it on Wednesday. So we've got to know this before I can even start thinking about Wednesday because I'm going to put a number on the front. So if you don't know how to do this without the number on the front, it's going to confuse you, okay? Pause this really quick. Moving that. You can hear it rubbing up against it. There we go. All right, what are we going to do? What two numbers multiply to be 18, but they add up to be 9? 6 and 3. Did anybody else find something different? Okay, when you did your cross, it probably looked like, a little bit like this. 18, you probably did 6 and 3, you probably did 9 and 2, and you probably did 18 and 1. Those were your 3 combinations. Was that right? And the combination was W plus 6, W plus 3, because that adds up to be 9. Your B value, A, B, C. Okay. What about this one? Can we do this one really quick? What two numbers multiply to be 24? Once you get the hang of this, it becomes pretty easy. What two numbers multiply to be 24, but they add up to be 10? Yeah, positive 6, positive 4. We're done. You're like, I could do this. See a lot of nodding. It's really, it looks worse than it really is, doesn't it? Okay. A lot of people nodding with me. So good, you agree with me. All right, what's the last one? What's the only number that multiplies to be 1? 1 times what? So when you do 1 times 1, what does that add up to be? What's 1 plus 1? So that's what we have. So here's how I would actually write it. Because it's the same thing twice, isn't it? Y plus 1, Y plus 1. What's 1 times 1? 1. But when you add 1 plus 1, you get the number in the middle. Everybody good? All right, is everybody okay? Everybody's all right so far, right? Now we're going to change it. We're going to add some, let's put some negatives in there. All right, one big rule that I want you to understand. Okay? A massive rule, and you're going to hear me say this more than once. Okay? The larger number, the larger number's sign always matches the B. Whatever the larger number is, if the larger number is if the sign in the middle is a negative, the larger number has to be a negative. Okay? Is everybody sticking with me on this? Now, what this means, the number on the end, you might want to put this somewhere. If it's a negative on the end, that means your signs are going to be different. They're going to be different. They're going to be different. You're going to have a positive. Think about it, because if you have two signs that are different, don't they multiply to be a negative number? 5 times negative 3, that's negative 15. If the signs are different, if there's a negative on the end, your sign has to be different. So how do you know which one is which? Look at the one in the middle. If the sign in the middle is a positive, the bigger number is going to be positive. If the sign in the middle is a negative, the larger number is going to be a negative. Please, please, please put a star next to that. That is where you're going to make mistakes. That is where you're going to make mistakes, okay? If it's a positive on the end, the signs match. If it's a negative on the end, the signs are going to be different, okay? Everybody with me on this? So here's how I always wrote it. I went, if I go ax squared plus or minus b squared, or I'm sorry, plus or minus b, plus or minus c, okay? If it's positive, they're going to be the same. If they're negative, they're going to be different. If it's positive, they're going to be the same. If it's negative, they're going to be different, okay? All right, here we go. So don't overthink this. I got negative 18. I'm still doing this, so I got negative 18, but I have a positive 3 in the middle. So negative 18, but they need to add up to be positive 3. So the negative 18 means, are they going to be the same or are they going to be different? It's a negative. So what are they going to be? It's going to be different. So these are going to be different signs, okay? I always like having the bigger numbers on the left-hand side. Okay, let me show you why. What two numbers? So I got 18 times 1. 2 times what? 2 times what, guys? 9. 3 times what? 6. And I think that's the only combination. Is that it? Now, they have to be different. So I told you the larger number is always going to match the sign in the middle. Yes? Is everybody with me? This is why I like the larger numbers to always be on the same side. So all of these are going to be positive, but they're going to be different, which means all these are going to be what? Negative. Which combination adds up to be positive 3? 6 and what? N plus 6, N minus 3. I just saw, oh, okay. They're different. They multiply to be negative 18. But when I add them together, they add up to be positive 3. I see some nodding. Is everybody like, okay, I kind of get that. If the sign in the middle was negative, my larger number would be negative. And then the smaller ones would be positive. Okay, if they have to be different. Okay, here we go. I got negative 8. Does that mean it's going to be same or different? They're going to be different. What's the sign in the middle? Positive what? 2. All right, let's get the numbers that multiply to be 8. 8 times 1, I always start with that number first. And then what? 4 times 2, is that it? Yep. Larger ones, positive. Smaller ones are going to be negative. Which combination adds up to be positive 2? 4 and what? Positive 4. X is negative 2. I mean, you're starting to like, okay, I kind of see the pattern here. Hey, now that we have the rules, literally the same rules are going to apply the rest of the time. Dead serious. I'm just going to ask you, positive or negative? Okay, is it going to be same or is it going to be different? Which one's positive? Which one's negative? That's what I'm going to ask you the rest of the time. The rules are not going to change. Everybody with me on this? The rules won't change. Let's do number 7. Let's go ahead and do it. We got time. What's the number? What's C? Negative 6, right? Is it same or is it different? This one's going to be different. What's the number in the middle? Positive 1. Positive 1. What two numbers multiplied by 6? Well, 6 times 1, like always. And what? 2 times 3. I like the bigger number to be on the left, so I'm going to keep it that way. But I just switch it. No big deal. Positive goes over here, which means they got to be different, which means they're going to be negative. Which one equals 1? G plus 3, G minus 2. A lot of nodding. You want to try the fourth one? Give it a shot. Go. I'm going to pause it. All right, negative 45. Is that positive? Is that the same or is it going to be different? Different. What numbers? 45 times 1? 15 times 3? 9 times 5? I think that's it. Is that right? Sweet. Positive 4, which means all my bigger numbers are going to be positive. All my smaller ones are going to be what? Negatives. Which combination adds up to be positive 4? 9 times. So we got C plus 9. C minus 5. Okay, I almost don't want to tell you this, but I'm going to anyway. It's important that you know how to do this because here in a minute we're going to get, like in the next couple days, we're going to have numbers on the front, okay? Can I give you a little hint? If you go to Desmos and graph it, like if you type in this equation and put x, like x squared plus 4x minus 45, literally your, remember your vertexes or remember your zeros? It would cross at negative 9, 0, and it would cross at positive 5, 0, and it gives you the two numbers. Literally, it gives you the numbers. Remember, when you put it in parentheses, it always switches. You remember that? Parentheses always flip it, so you can always use Desmos. I'm telling you that it's important to know how to do this because here, before too much longer, you're not going to be able to use Desmos, okay? When we have, it's more complex, okay? We need to know the process of doing it, but when you don't have numbers, literally, I could type that in. Now, I wouldn't trust that because what you're going to do is you're going to see this. It's going to cross at negative 4 and positive 2, and you're going to put negative 4 and positive 2, and it's going to be wrong. You see what I'm saying? So you want to make sure your signs are right. So be very careful if you do that. I'm okay with it, but I want you to understand. I want you to know the why behind it. Yes? Because if you look at this, isn't this just root form? Isn't that factored form that we talked about, the 3 forms of the quadratic? The 2 parentheses? Literally. Okay, it's the same thing. It's the same information. All right, let's go to this one. Now, let's just do a couple of them. Let's do number 10. Let's do number 10. What do you notice? They're both negative. Okay, so the negative 30 at the top, what does the negative 30 mean? The signs have to be what? Different. What does the negative 7 in the middle mean? Nope. The larger number is going to be a negative this time. Okay? So find your factors of negative 30, and then find the one that adds up to be negative 7, which the number in the middle is a negative, which means my larger numbers are all going to be negative. Okay? That's why I like doing this, because if I keep my larger ones, I know my negative is going to go to that side, always. Always. And if I say that they're different, I know that this side's negative, this side has to be positive. And it will always work. It will always work when you do it. Mentally, I just went down the list. 1, 2, then I got to 3, 4. 4 doesn't, and then I got to 5. And since the next number was in this column, I knew I was done. I knew I was finished. As far as I can go. Once it starts going to the other column, you're done. You don't have to go any further. Okay. All right. Which combination? All these are negative, right? The larger one has to be negative. So all these are negative, which means this side has to be what? Positive. Which combination adds up to be negative 7? Negative 10 plus 3. X minus 10, X plus 3. I'm done. There's no reason for me to beat a dead horse. Would you agree? I don't need, it's the same rule, except now the middle number is a negative, which means your larger number is going to be a negative. Different sign, negative. Okay, so we're going to go negative and positive rather than positive, negative. Okay, same stuff. You just need to ask yourself the same question. And like I said, I've been doing this my whole life. Okay, and I still ask myself the same question: are they going to be same? Or are they going to be different? Which one needs to be? Which one's negative? Which one's positive? Okay, dead serious. All these are good. We good? All right, let's go to this one. Okay, what does it mean when there's a positive and then a negative? Hold on. What does the positive on the end mean? They stay the same. I'm glad you didn't say they're both going to be positive. That's not what it means. They're either going to be same or they're going to be what? Different. It's one or the other. They're going to be the same or they're going to be different. You said the same. How do I know which ones it's going to be? What's the other number? What's the other thing you see up there? What? Not necessarily the bigger number. You're on the right track though. No. You're fine. 100%. Actually, the way that you said that could actually work. Okay. If they're going to be the same, all you got to do is look at the sign in the middle. What's the sign in the middle on these? So they're both going to be negatives. Because when you multiply two negatives, what do you get? Positive. But when you add them together, it stays as what? It stays as a negative. Kenley, pick one. 15. Cool, let's do 15. She likes the bigger number. Okay. 72, negative 17. Positive means that they're going to be the same. Yes? Positive means they're going to be the same. $72, I think, has quite a few factors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, there's a lot of them. Okay, 72 times what, guys? 1. 2 times what? 3 times 24. 4 times 18. 5 times, nope. 6 times 12. 7 times. 8 times 9. Yeah, there's a lot. Now, hold on. Now, earlier we said the larger number is going to be match the sign at the bottom, right? Which is not wrong. The larger number is still going to match this sign. So all these are going to be negatives, yes? You guys with me on this? But what does that say? Which means this side is also going to be negatives. The larger sign will always match the one, always. It will always match the one at the bottom. The larger number, the sign will always match the B. Every single time. Okay? Now, what combination? We already know the 72s. Which ones add up to be negative 17? Negative 9 and negative 8. Y minus 9, y minus 8. We're done. They multiply to be positive 72, but when you add them together, it's negative 17. 1 to 5, how do you guys feel on this? I see some really good numbers. Okay. Feeling good? Do we need to do some more examples? Let's try. These are kind of mixed. What about 20? Tell me about 22. Don't solve it. What do you see about 22? This one, I'm only going to do the signs only. You guys with me on this? Okay. What is everything here? Positive. So all of my, you don't have to fill it out, but I'm just going to go K plus, and then we're going to find the numbers. Everything matches. You guys with me on this? Okay. What about What about this one? What is that? What does the positive tell me? They're going to be the same. What does the negative tell me? Nope. Negative, negative. Okay. You guys with me on that? Those are important to know. Okay. The positive means they match. The negative in the middle tells me what they're going to be. Okay. All right. Let's go to look for greatest common factor first. Okay. So let's do this. Let's do number 27 down here in the corner. Now, we're not going to solve this all the way. This is not the same as what you're going to see in the next few days, okay? All right. What's my front number for all of these? I have a 2, a what? A 10, and a what? What number goes into 2, 10, and 12? 2. We did this the other day. You guys remember this sort of? So I'm going to divide by 2, and I'm going to rewrite the problem. Okay, so now after I write the 2, I'm going to have this. B squared, because I got, what's 10 divided by 2? 5b. What's 12 divided by 2? Positive 6. Everybody with me? And then let's see if we can do it in our head. What number multiplies to be 6, but they add up to 5? 3 times 2. B plus 3. It does not matter which one goes first, by the way. B plus 2. There's my answer with the number on the front. Write that down, please, so you're not confused. All right. Are we okay? Factoring, it's not that bad, is it? It is not that bad, but it is one of those things, if you missed, okay, you're going to have an assessment over this. Okay, we're absolutely going to have an assessment over this. So keep an eye on this video. Please go back, watch it again before we take the test. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a break, and then we are going to just practice this. Cool? Okay, you guys go ahead and take a little break. Share it with your friends.